A lot of Indians are kind of upset how the world is treating them lately. But I mean, some of it is racism for sure, but a lot of it is your own actions, don't you think? I mean, a good place to start would be to stop cheering for a genocide, to stop pushing propaganda that the whole world knows is lies, and maybe stop defending your leaders who find their names in the Epstein list. These are good places to start, but then for that, you need to have some responsibility towards yourself and towards your community, right? And do these people really look like they care about anybody other than themselves? I'm not even talking about other races, I'm talking about their own people. These people happen to be the most selfish people on the planet. They'll keep their houses clean, but once you leave their property, you'll see filth everywhere. This is like a rule in India that you're not supposed to care about those kind of things because if you do that, you're kind of a loser. So if they hate their country, why do they yap so much about being a superpower, being the best country in the world? The thing is, if you really want to be the superpower, if you really want other people to respect you, you have to actually accomplish things. And doing things is hard. Pretending is easy. Right now, you're one of the most hated people on the planet. So maybe that should wake you up because if this doesn't wake you up, nothing probably will. And maybe you should stop sucking up to the white person as well because as much as you want to believe it, they don't care about you unless you're white, unless you're Christian. You have to satisfy both these requirements pretty much. Ask D'Souza. I mean, he'll tell you he converted to Christianity, yet it still wasn't enough. So being white is the first requirement. Being Christian is secondary and optional because if these people were really Christian, they'd do something about the ongoing genocide, right? Instead of funding it. And then when Indians defend their leaders who happen to find themselves in the Epstein's list, it doesn't look good, does it? Because before this, before internet became ubiquitous, all of our evil shit was hidden from the world. We didn't have to defend anything, you know? People often used to feel like, okay, it must be an exaggeration. No place can be that fucked up. But when everybody started having a smartphone with an internet connection, two things started to happen. Indians, obviously, no self-awareness. They started posting videos about themselves, about their streets, about their homes, about their offices. And soon people realized that, well, it definitely looks like some places are definitely more fucked up than others. And instead of acknowledging that and calling an emergency meeting, maybe politicians, maybe your leaders, or important or influential people in your communities, maybe all of them, like maybe banded together, came together, and perhaps sought a solution for that. But no, that's like too much work. So instead of doing that, we'll just say it's all propaganda. You can only fool an Indian by saying that, by the way. To some people, this is their whole life. This is why they exist, to defend it. That's it. But they don't seem to understand that, okay, you'll defend it now. You'll defend it from foreigners. But when your kids, when your grandkids, when your great grandkids are going to ask you about why their country is so fucked up, do you have an answer to that? Because right now you're in coping mode and all the best with that. I refuse to be a part of this. And that's the reason why I make these videos because this is not sustainable. After a point, we will have to cannibalize each other and that's not a fun thing. And why do you feel the need to go overseas and convert that place into India? Like, why go to a place, why leave your country, go to another country and then just infect it pretty much? There are certain places in the US, in the UK, and parts of Europe that look like India because like a lot of Indians settle down in that particular neighborhood. And soon it just sounds, looks, smells like India pretty much. But you eat Bangladeshis when they do the same thing. Oh, they're Bangladeshis, they're different, they're worse than us. Really? The way you look at Bangladeshis, the world looks at you. I'm just telling you the facts. Maybe you didn't receive the memo yet. I'll tell you one of the main reasons why the world hates us. The global south. We've been struggling for a really long time, right? We had a common oppressor, right? Now imagine this, that you're in a prison. Let's just say that they didn't like you and they locked you up. Now in that prison, somebody runs that prison, the warden of that prison. And there are other inmates. Now this warden has one favorite. And this favorite is usually the kind of person who stays with the prisoners, infiltrates various groups, and leaks information to the authorities. Now imagine all those prisoners finding out about such a thing happening. What do you think they'll do? That person is getting killed. Since this is not a prison, what happens is you get hate. When you suck up to the white person, thinking that maybe this person is going to go easy on us and maybe we'll have some better prospects in the future, that is nothing but slave mentality. They call you poop. Sir, no, like, tell me green card, sir, like, tell me green. Like, why do you have to do that? We don't even have to make faces like that. Just talk like a normal person. What is wrong with you? Ramaswamy was like on his knees pretty much with knee pads and stuff, like doing that. But still, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. So when are you gonna wake up? You're not different. The white person doesn't see you as different. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about, those MAGA kinds. You're the same to them. They can't even tell the difference between you and an Arab, the person you hate. So maybe it's about time that we stop doing this bullshit, stop backstabbing other minorities just because it's going to be beneficial for us. When we were kids, we were in school, there used to be that one kid, who used to be the teacher's pet. Nobody used to like that kid. You're that kid. Racism is inherent in Indians. This is a 24-year-old kid. His name was Angel Chakma, and he was murdered in India because he looked like that. Instead of looking like this, he looked like that. And that was enough for him to get killed. Imagine what his family must be going through right now. When you do it, it's all right. But when somebody else does it to you, then that becomes the most important problem that needs urgent attention from everybody on this planet. Even aliens, potentially. This is the worst thing that can happen to anybody, including genocides, pandemics, whatever. Our youth is getting tired, You can gaslight the old fucks, the boomers, the millennials, the mother who got us into this mess, but the kids aren't going to settle for this. They deserve better and they deserve more. And I have one more advice for you. Take it if you will, or skip this video if you feel butthurt by this point. I don't care. Try and learn about other cultures too, man. There are a lot of great other cultures on this planet. We aren't the only one. We used to be one. We used to be one. Past tense. And no country is perfect. Of course, this is the first excuse you hear from Indians. But at least accomplish something. You need to have something to show for, right? You don't even have that. Be nice to others. Ask them about how they are. Be curious about their culture, their lives. Maybe they'll be curious about your culture, your lives. And that happens organically. You don't have to sit right next to a random white or black person and endlessly yap about how incredible you are and how one of the greatest civilizations that has ever lived on this planet is you. If narcissism was a country, it would be us. People don't like such people. It's simple. It's not rocket science. You want to be likable, right? It affects you a lot, right? Somebody calls you up, you lose your shit, right? So if you want people to like you, be likable. Stop being an asshole. So this whole utterly stupid idea of just being arrogant is gonna make you look strong is hilarious. It's like some kid has come up with this. Like a 7-year-old kid has come up with this. You want people to know how great we are, how awesome we are. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a mess. And that way, people will know exactly how awesome and incredible we are. It will make them quiver in their boots. They will shit their pants. Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. Now let's talk about the Indian women. For example, Nikki Haley, her real name is Nimrata Randhawa, but she's ashamed of her background. She's ashamed of her ethnicity. Of course she is. Otherwise, what's the point of changing your name? She tried everything to fit in and still failed. This is a psychopath, a warmonger. She likes to sign her name on bombs and missiles. Now, another example for such behavior is Usha Vance. The way JD Vance sneakily tried to get her to convert to Christianity, it was all a mess. I'm pretty sure even Christians are offended by that. But why would somebody like Usha Vance do this, right? Get married to a person like JD Vance. Now, your guess is just as good as mine. I know it could be status, could be money, power, or maybe she thought he'd convert to Hinduism. I don't know how that's even possible without forcing people to do that, but it happens overseas too, especially among the conservative circles of Indians. Okay, don't laugh at me. Indians actually believe they're the true white people. They legit think that humanity began in India and then it spread outwards. Again, stop laughing. I can hear you. So everything basically happened in India first. Like the first nuclear war happened in India. Like millions of years ago, there was like this hyper advanced civilization in India. They say these things with a straight face and you're supposed to buy it. This person racist only. Yeah, okay. Okay. That's one way of living your life. Um, One pathetic way of living your life, I must say. People are gonna have different ideologies and they're gonna follow different faiths. Nobody's ever gonna convert to just one thing. Both MAGA Christians and ultra-conservative Hindus need to understand this. You groups agree on a lot of things, like your hatred towards black people, your hatred towards Hispanics, Arabs, and other people. Now, this is one example of one of the matrimonial advertisements. Take a look at that. I'll zoom it in so that you can read it. And this is not just one odd occurrence, by the way. At least 80% of Indians indulge in this. At least 80? Yeah, at least. Could be 90%. And not just that, they are also fans of receiving dowry. They hate giving dowry, but they have to because if they don't, then they don't receive it. And that's one of the reasons why Indians hate their culture, and because now they're like a debt. You know, you have to pay a random guy to take her away from you, and you have to pay him well, right? And you know what? The most fucked up part in all of this is the mother of the groom, okay, who makes these demands. The mother of the groom. The father of the groom is usually chill in these kind of situations, although he's on board. He's not innocent, but he doesn't make most of the demands. Most of the demands are made by the mother of the groom. Imagine one woman extorting money from another. That is the kind of solidarity women have in India with each other. They hate each other. That you see that in every sphere of life. This internalized hatred. That's how we get Anusha Vance. No country, culture, or civilization is perfect. Every society has its flaws. But the difference between Indian society and other societies is the rate of change. It is so excruciatingly slow. Indians often dream of becoming a superpower. Now, the only way to make it happen is bring these changes. Most of our industry is now service industry. We barely manufacture anything. I mean, manufacture anything of value. Most of our exports are agricultural, the way it has been for the past 75 years. Even more, China dominates most of the market. And rightfully so, because they deliver on their promises. They provide better quality as much as we want to hate them. The audacity of Indians to even compare themselves to China is nauseating. Nauseating is the word. A peaceful world is a better world. But the Monroe Doctrine will not let that happen. Some people are happy about the fact that the dollar is going to collapse. It will, for sure. It's headed in that direction, but it's not going to be instant. You know, it's going to drag itself out like the Afghanistan war. So it's going to take a long time, and a lot of people are going to suffer. I'm afraid more non-Americans will suffer than Americans when that happens. But it has to happen, and it's going to happen. You know, it's just like ripping off that band-aid. Now, I believe in second chances, so Indians should really reevaluate their place in the West. People do not think you're engineers and doctors anymore. People think you're 7-Eleven. You're a minimum wage employee. You're cleaners, plumbers. There's nothing wrong with that. Work is work. But the way you gaslight rest of the Indians back home, back in India, that is terrifying. Because if you ask an average Indian on the streets about their position in the world, that stupid motherfucker will say that we're a superpower or something. Completely detached from reality. It's about time we woke up. Like, we really had a chance to rival China, you know?